Welcome to the Chosen series. I am James. With me, as always, is my good friend here, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. You have a good holiday. Well, a Merry Christmas. Did you have a
I
good Christmas?
did. Yes, it was a great Christmas. Spent Christmas Eve as we always do at my wife's parents' house with her side of the family. My side of the family came over on Sunday, and then today was just kind of like the like hang Christmas hangover day where we're just exhausted from running around for 2 days, and the kids are like drowning in their presence, and they're just like, "Oh, I want to play with everything."
Does your
Um,
work observe the day off?
yeah, I get a day off for Christmas Eve and Christmas, and when it falls in the weekend, like it did this weekend, we get the Friday and then the Monday after off.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
I get the same thing for New Year's and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So, short work week again this week. We'll be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll have Friday off, and then I'll have Monday off.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't have next Monday off.
Hmm.
So don't tell my boss, but I may just make it real slow. No.
Yeah. How
Uh,
about you? This is what your kiddo's
first
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 Christmas.
Christmas. Yes, she's
Nice.
going on 7 months old now, so she is, she ate the paper more than the gifts, but
Mm.
it's yeah, it was magical, man. It was
Yeah, dude.
magical.
It gets so fun as they get older and like understand.
Yeah.
Um, like our youngest is, I don't know, probably 1.5 or getting close to being 1.5. So she's like kind of almost there.
Mhm.
Like she wouldn't really open any of her gifts. Like we had to open it for her, but then she would get excited for what it was. But the thing that she was the most excited about out of all of her gifts was a new water bottle cup. like as soon as that was open, she just
It
like
was just
new Wowie, and then like we put it on the table so she could open a gift, and she just cried until I like washed it and filled it up with water and let her have it again.
oh my goodness, man.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad
Yeah.
that your Christmas was good.
Yeah, her favorite little toy was a little stuffed Bluey. I got her.
Yeah,
Gotta love
you're
it.
raising her right.
Oh yeah.
Some
Oh
Bluey
yeah.
toys.
Bluey bingo. It's a last minute find, but I found it.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Awesome, man. So yeah, today it's a special episode. It's a little festive if you're watching. We got our on on screen Christmas lights going.
Love
I
it.
may not be in a Santa hat, which that may
Yes.
make you mad or it may not. I don't know. Some people are very crazy about that, so we'll just live in that state of uncertainty there. But yeah, so tonight we're gonna go over well, I guess it's technically season 2, episode 9 of The Chosen. But in their new app, it seems that they changed the name, but it's called The Messengers, right? It's
Mhm,
an extension of the pilot episode. So the pilot episode was called The Shepherd, right? And
mhm.
if you remember our I'm sure we turned that like 20-minute thing into like a 4-hour podcast, but like you
What,
recall that
us? No.
it was the shepherd, kind of the Christmas story told through the shepherd's point of view, and in that you had gotten a glimpse of Mary and stuff. And so now here in the episode of The Messengers, you have the same, I believe. I know the actor of Joseph is the same. I can't remember if the actress of Mary is the same
It's
as
the
well.
same for Mary
Okay,
too, yeah.
so both of them are the same, and so it's kind of told through their perspective now, rather than
Mhm.
the
Shepherds.
shepherds. Yes, but you also kind of get a glimpse of future, kind of like
Yeah.
what would typically take place during the time of
Time
Acts.
travel.
Yes, so it's which makes me think that eventually they may do an Acts. I
Yeah,
mean, honestly, when you get to the end of this show, like you got to. I mean, what else do? You got to go on to Acts. Come on,
right.
just Dallas. I know you're listening, and just like
Big fan of the
please,
show.
please take that into consideration because I am fascinated by X. So awesome.
Yep.
So you want to jump us off here with the show notes?
Got the episode description here for you guys. So
nothing like starting it out with a plagiarized show's notes.
Yes, exactly. In 48 AD, as the Roman persecution towards Christians is widespread, Tychus. Oh, that's weird. It's T-Y. Sorry, I don't mean to just derail this. Sorry, but it's Tychicus. Let's call him Tychus. A follower of the way meets with Lazarus to help Mary Magdalene see Jesus' mother, Mary, who has a fever at the time. Mary Magdalene informs Mary about the growth of the church, the disciples' missions, and what happened to the boys. Afterward, Mary recounts to Mary Magdalene her experience in 4 BC from the journey to Bethlehem, where she and her husband Joseph couldn't get a room at the inn, and to the manger where she gives birth to Jesus. Mary shares her song as well as gives Mary Magdalene a piece of clothing from the manger. After Mary tells her and Joseph's perspective of the birth of Jesus to Mary Magdalene, she instructs her to write down the complete story of Jesus' birth and her song and deliver them to Luke, who has been gathering eyewitness accounts regarding Jesus. In Rome, Mary Magdalene gives the account and a thorough story of Jesus' birth to Luke to include and add in Luke's writings. So there you go.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. So like you said, this kind of obviously is from Mary and Joseph's perspective, but kind of leads up to the pinnacle of the pilot of the shepherd, which is the birth of Jesus, right? Which as I was watching, I was like, oh, I wonder if like they're gonna have a scene where those 3 dorks come running in like they did in the pilot. That would have been a really cool like way to tie both episodes together in a way. But they didn't.
Is this the first time seeing this?
Yeah, it's the first. This is my first
you
time
were
watching
not.
Messengers, yes.
You were not a chosen dweeb until.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm like a born again chosen dweeb. I was.
So.
Yeah. So you got that, and then like you said, there's a lot of time hopping in this because you have the two timelines happening in tandem. The timeline of young Mary and Joseph in 4 BC on their way and in Bethlehem. And then you have the 48 AD timeline with this Tychus fella, Lazarus, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, and then eventually Luke. So if you weren't fully devoted to the screen, it could be confusing at times if you're playing around on your phone, which if you are, shame. Yeah. Why don't you kick us off, sir? Where would you like to start?
Yeah, I mean, let's just start. I feel like I shouted that. Let's start. I mean, I don't know. Let's start at the beginning, right? A good place to start. Now, so our opening scene here, we're just kind of watching this mysterious man. We don't really know who he is, what he's up to. He's riding in on a carriage, 2 horses, a lantern. It's kind of dusk or dawn. I mean, dawn. Yes, nighttime dawn, right? Dawn.
Dusk. No.
Dusk.
Yeah, dusk.
Why am I feeling
no.
like
All right, so we're gonna spend the next 20 minutes.
Play the music. I don't know. I've always been like this in school.
Dusk,
whenever
the
there's
darker stage of twilight.
Okay, all right. So I had it right in the beginning.
Dawn would be in the morning.
Whenever there's a choice between 2 things, I feel, even if I know the right answer, I feel indecisive. It was always in school. Like I don't know what it is. There's just, yeah. So we'll move on. It's dusk, right? Dude's coming in. He kind of makes a stop. He sees some Roman guards up ahead, because he's reached his destination and there's Roman guards blocking whatever archway that they're going to be going through, doorway. Not really know at this point. But so he stops. He gets out of his carriage. It's kind of putzing around. You can tell he's a little nervous doing his thing. And so, yeah, makes it back on and backs onto his carriage. He's still nervous, prays, and moves forward. So what do you think up until this point? Like, who is this dude, right? Like, I don't even think we know. Well, I mean, I know we eventually know, but right now we don't.
Yeah, it's very clear that it looks like he's smuggling something in because he's like fidgeting around with the hay, like trying to cover this box, and is very sweaty, which I'm assuming is nerves and probably not so
Yeah.
much temperature. So yeah, he's trying to get something into the city here, and I wasn't really sure what was going on here.
Yeah. So then,
Clearly nervous though.
yeah. So then it's just like dun dun dun, 4 BC, backwards in time, and so now we're following our good old friends Mary and Joseph.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so that was it. That's all we got of the intro. We don't know who this dude is. He's just mysterious figure A. That's what we'll call him. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
any more. Just in case, we'll call him A, and then call the rest B.
Yeah, this scene with Mary and Joseph traveling into Bethlehem is pretty cool, and the conversation they have. My wife, again watching this with my wife, she thought she really liked this scene. Just the conversation between Mary and Joseph here, where we all know the story. Joseph was set to marry Mary. The Immaculate Conception happened, right? And in those days, in their culture, their custom, like that's total. Like Joseph did not impregnate her, so that's grounds for divorce, right? If he wanted to publicly, like, because that's scandalous to be impregnated by not the person.
But I think they were betrothed, right? Like I don't think they weren't even married yet.
Not yet. No, they were going to be betrothed. You're right. So like he could have broke it off, right? Because he's like, whoa, this that wasn't me. We're gonna get weird looks, all that stuff. But like, the angel came to Mary, told her what was up. The angel came to Joseph, told him what was up, and Joseph listened to the angel and stood by Mary's side through all this. And then in the scene, they have a really cool conversation of Mary basically being like, I've never really said thank you because like for, helping me, protecting me, but like still being with me, like, thank you. And it was like a pretty cool, touching conversation here.
Yeah, I like the introduction of Joseph. It always bothered me. It still does. It's like one of those things that I'll never feel comfort with. The fact that like you don't ever get any understanding of like where he went. I mean, clearly he died.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like clearly I think he was his father's trade, like Jesus was in his father's trade. So clearly he was a carpenter, right? I mean, that's what we pick up from. But like nothing else. Like, does it not bother you? Have you ever thought about that? Like,
I haven't really. I haven't much until like going through this, like the show, because they pay some attention to Joseph, at least a little more than we normally get, specifically in, I think, this scene and in this episode, but also we got a little bit, spoiler alert, time travel, episode 3 of season 3, we get a little bit of Joseph too, which is cool. But yeah, you're right. He just doesn't get explored much.
He doesn't at all, and it bugs me. It just bugs me. That's all. But yeah, I digress here. I just always thought about it, and like you could tell he did a lot. Like you see like the conversation that you're talking about here, right? Like, you don't need much to understand his character, right? Like you just the basic premise of the story, like you're about to get married, your to-be wife is knocked up, and now you're expected to just like take, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much to it that like, I don't know, right? Like,
yeah, a lot asked of him, and then like to raise Jesus, and like you're not even biologically related. You know what I mean? Like at least with Mary, like he was birthed of her. Like Joseph was
It's a
just along for the ride, right?
That's a good point though that you make. You know, I guess I never really think too much about that, is the fact that like Joseph was the bloodline of, let's see here, oh, my another screen isn't working, but Joseph, if you read Luke's account, right? Let's see here, Luke's account, it says that Joseph was a descendant of King David. Joseph was. So Joseph's bloodline is what, was, I think, well, yeah, if you look at Isaiah, right? Jesse's the stump of Jesse, right? Basically saying that from
Yeah, that
that
just sounds so
bloodline.
funny. The stump of Jesse.
Yeah, right. But like, I just, that's a good point, is that David's bloodline is the one that or Joseph is the one that carries David's bloodline, and Jesus isn't actually a part of his bloodline.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But he's raised into it. I mean, clearly, if she is having, the Immaculate Conception here, then it's,
You know how hard it was for me to not say, dude, the Immaculate Reception, like the football, the Franco Harris catch. Anyways, if you're not a football fan, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But the pause when I first said that was because I was trying so hard not to say that. But yeah, it's interesting because, Mary's basically like saying thank you, and Joseph's response is priceless. He just said, God told me to, and she kind of was like, yeah, I know, but you had a choice. And he's like, did I really? But then he's like, but I'm glad either way, because I wouldn't change any of this, but like, yeah, it's just a cool scene because he understands like his role in this, and like, and she also understands, like, there's just a lot of understanding happening here, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I was trying to look in Isaiah never mind. All right, so cool. Well, we got them they're on the road to Bethlehem. And if you remember the story here, they're on the road to Bethlehem for the census that was called by Augustus Caesar. So Roman census that was taking place. So everyone had to travel back to their towns of birth to, or their hometowns, whatever you want to call it, for the census. And yeah, so they're on their way back. And like you said, he's being just very, I don't know, he's worried, right? He's the kind of the perception I get from it. I think he understands the gravity of it too, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know, dude. I
think it's like classic dad pre-birth, like I don't know how you were,
elevated,
but like,
so
yeah, just like, oh, are you okay? You gonna be okay? Like, we gotta get everything ready. We gotta make sure everything's in line. We gotta get to Bethlehem. We gotta get a room. This could happen any day now. Like, you're really far along. But then, yeah, I think like you said, obviously, because angels visited both of them, and they're like, listen, this is what's happening. There's just like that normal pressure of about to be a first-time parent is multiplied by like 1,000.
Yeah, dude, I was not, I can't, that's what I mean. Exactly. It's like, I was a wreck myself. And I can't imagine that, and the severity of like, hey, you just had, the savior of the world, right? Like the Messiah, like you're, there's a whole depth to it that there's just,
hey, by the way, God is coming in the flesh. He's your child.
Yes.
No pressure.
And you have to keep him safe. Yeah, no, so that was, I think, the most, I don't know, that was just the hardest I can imagine that. So, yeah, I'd be worried too. So, I think the actor did well at, his role in that,
Yeah,
just that whole
and
walk up.
a little aside here. I love. Again, I'm gonna like. I'm not gonna talk about season 3, episode 3, but
I haven't watched it yet.
Mary, you haven't yet?
No, I'm gonna watch it,
Okay,
tomorrow
then never
before
mind.
the episode.
For episodes 1 and this Christmas episode, though, like I love the continuity of the actors.
Mhm.
And I'll just end my point there.
Okay. Yes. Oh wow, they probably okay. All right, I'm excited to watch it tomorrow. Yeah, we didn't. It was like 9, 10 o'clock, and we're like, "What do we?" Oh, we didn't watch
Yeah,
the.
7 o'clock on Christmas night. It's a tough
Yeah.
time slot to have free.
Yes. So, yeah. So, yeah, we're here. So that just ends kind of abruptly there, and they're just on their way still to Bethlehem. And so
Yep.
here we are. We're going back to our mysterious dude is now at the gate. That is,
Yep.
it's past dusk, and which is
just straight up
which
dark.
is yeah, that was it was dusk when he saw him, and unless he turned back and went 4 miles backwards and then back again.
Yeah, he
We
must have
skipped a
been
lot of
nervously staring at the gate for a couple hours.
yes. So here we are. We're at the gate, and the Roman soldier is, just, kind of calling him out like, "Hey, dude, this is a pretty late delivery. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you transporting? What
He
you got
says-
there? What's in that
He
box?"
says the best figs in the region.
The best fig. Just watched Elf. Congratulations, world's best cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So yeah, best figs in the country. So here they are. He's glancing through it, and there he is. There's some figs in a box.
Yeah,
And
little
so,
figs.
yes, at that point, so it's like so Roman soldiers kind of just glancing around, but it's I mean, nothing. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So I was like, what was making this scene difficult? So before you had seen there was his papers, probably his transport papers by whoever's ordering him or whatever, to transport the product, right? And so the first scene before had cut when he was kind of still sitting there, he knocked him over into the back of his carriage. Classic, papers gone, and when he's asked, in between the seat, and here we are waiting for him, and he's like, "Let me see your paperwork. Let me see your orders," and he's searching for it. He can't find it. The suspense is killing, and then a hand comes out.
And
from the back of the carriage. So, so we finally know what he is shoveling around the countryside. Human trafficking
too.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah. So hand comes out, gives him the sheet of, or the envelope, whatever, not envelope, the notebook. What is it called? Yeah. Notebook.
Inventory papers.
His inventory, yes. And so, yeah, no, there they are. And so, so he makes it into town. Yeah. And so really at this point, you still don't know who this guy is. So it's really like, you're just sitting there like, I don't.
Mysterious.
Yes. Very mysterious, I would say. And so here we are. We're back. We're back to our buddies.
Can I just say, I love all the Hail Caesars. We've gotten a lot of Hail Caesars in season 3 so far, especially episode 2. We had a lot of Hail Caesars with Quintus. But before the mysterious man goes through the gate, the Roman guard hands him his paper legs. Hail Caesar.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I love it. Might just incorporate that in my day-to-day conversations.
Hail Caesar?
Yeah.
That's bold. Well, all right. So here we are.
Time jump.
Time jump back to 4 AD. And we got Mr. Joseph, Miss Mary. No, at this point, did they get married? I don't know. I can't remember when they actually got married. Yeah, no, I think they were betrothed. She got pregnant. Then they got married.
Mm-hmm.
Right, in secrecy. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they got married after the birth.
Yeah. And then, but it said like they didn't consummate the marriage or something like that. I can't.
Got it.
Actually, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know what is like. My mind right now seems to be mixed up, and I think that's probably the issue too. Sometimes is that my mind seems mixed up with like what has been creative liberty over the years in the Christmas Story, and like what's not. You know what I mean? Like what is. You know, I was even reading today. Like I was reading it again, Luke's account, and it doesn't actually say that they're in a stable, but they place it in a manger, which is within a stable. You know what I mean? So it's like, at what point is like what's inferred and what's not? That's the hardest part about this.
Yeah, I had actually heard something over the weekend. I don't know how true this is or if it is at all, but Jesus was born in a cave. And the Magi didn't actually come and see him until he was like a toddler.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I don't want to like quote anything on this, but first off, cave thing, I think that's pretty. So I don't know what that's from, like where you like what, you know, whoever you heard that from, but I know like from my understanding is that a lot of these like stables kind of things were what would be underneath a home, I think. And so I don't know if that's cave like. I don't know. I have no idea. That's weird. But I feel like I have seen. That's a good point. I don't know. Did they? I'm curious now. Like what it. Who did you hear that from? Just like was that just at church or something?
Like a family.
Oh, okay.
Christmas thingy. But yeah, I don't know.
So with the three wise men though, that I think refers to, they probably didn't come till a while. Like so, if they saw it in the sky, right? I think they saw the same star in the sky.
Yeah,
that appeared when Jesus was born, right? So I believe it would have taken them a while to prepare, travel countryside or whatever, and find him. And so like I don't like the whole like instantaneous thing. And actually, they don't do that. Shepherds is one thing, but like the three wise men is a different. You know what I mean? Like it's a So they actually do pretty.
And the wise men. I'm showing my biblical knowledge here, which is not great. They were the ones that told King Herod. And then King Herod gave the order to,
I believe so,
kill all the 2-year-old and under boys or 2-year-old boys.
So
not to completely derail the episode here.
No. I mean, that's where I think this. So I am currently my study I'm actually going through my Advent study of N.T. Wright's portrayal of Luke's story and breaking that down, and which is I think Matthew is the one that gives the account of a more of what you're talking about. Yeah, that I think he goes into that account. I'm looking at it now. I think Matthew 2. Teachers, religious words, Messiah born instead of. Yeah, so. Yep. Then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them that the time when the star first appeared, then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. And when you find him, come back and tell me so I can go and worship him too."
AKA defeat him.
Yes. So,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, that was Matthew's account, which makes sense why it isn't like fresh in my mind right now.
Yeah,
But
which makes sense why it is in my mind because that's what I've been reading.
yes.
Good stuff. But back to the episode here. Mary, Joseph, they made it into Bethlehem. They're kind of cruising the streets here. Joseph's talking about he wants to go visit his old buddy Samuel, but he doesn't. It's been a while since he's been in town, so he can't
Things
remember.
change.
Yeah,
Things change, dude.
there's a lot of people. He can't remember where Samuel's crib
It's
is.
a big city.
They're trying to get a room. Mary's in some obvious discomfort here.
I believe this would be contractions.
Yes. Actually, they haven't gotten to the part where they're looking for a room. They're just in the city on the hunt for Samuel's house and some water.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back to our good buddy Mystery Man here. And this
did we jump
gets
back that quick?
interesting. Because our Mystery Man, he's made it through the town he was in. He comes to a gate, he knocks, and it's very mysterious. He's hooded, shadowy, makes a little like semicircle in the sand with his foot. Man comes and enters the door. They have this like, I'm assuming like a secret phrase or whatever. He says, the man behind the gate says, "Are you lost, traveler?" And the mysterious man replies, "No longer, for I have found the way."
Yes.
And then the man behind the gate opens up and welcomes him in. And when he opens the door, he draws himself a semicircle connecting to the mysterious man and makes the. Do you think this is the origins of the fish symbol?
I mean, yeah, I was trying to
That's
think.
literally what they drew in the sand here.
So, like, I thought about this a long time ago. Like, I mean, clearly, I don't think we get any indication that this could be just very well something modern. Maybe it's not. I mean, maybe it goes back to early church history, but like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they had to have something, right? Like, this was so as you're seeing, like, I guess I don't want to jump into this too much. Never mind. I'll bring this up later. I don't want to jump into it and reveal like, what.
Did you see the fish in their lines in the sand?
Yeah,
or
no,
am I
I
just,
saw no,
jumping to
that's definitely the
conclusions?
fish. And I mean, I've seen it in different TV shows. They had that show on Axe that they tried to do and it got canceled because people don't like Jesus. I mean, I don't really know why. It was a good show, man, and it just get gone.
Yeah.
But they had it. They would have it on like little door, like engraved, like near the steps of a door or something to indicate this is where. I think they called it the way. I think it's so the way he said it is mentioned in the book of Acts, and so that's like one of the kind of, with I guess you would probably call it the way before like Christians or Christianity or like that type of thing. It was like the way. So, and I don't know where that's like translated from or anything, and so I don't want to get too hung up on it, but it is referred to like I think a multitude of times in Acts as the way. And so I'm assuming that's got to be something indication of that type of thing and that early following, because these people were being pursued, right? Like this isn't, it didn't just like end with Jesus and they're like, all right, cool. Like it blew up, and so this is not like, it had to be some kind of the secrecy thing. So I'm guessing the way is like, but
they even say they refer to it as the way in the episode description too.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, the man here behind the gates, references Paul, which is cool. Paul says, "You're brave and righteous." Yeah, interesting little meeting here. We find out Is this where we find out who the man behind the gate is? Or is that in another scene?
There is someone very eager for your arrival. May I tell her all is safe and sound? Yes.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't.
he introduces himself, by the way. This is Lazarus.
Okay, this is where
who
he does it.
answers
Okay.
the gate. And we learn that the mysterious man's name is Tychus, or however you say his name. But yeah, the Tychus is here to meet someone.
Like I'm assuming this has to be the same Lazarus that was raised from the dead, right?
Yeah. Because I believe. I don't know. I mean, I figure you get or the next.
You get raised from the dead like that. I imagine you're pretty set to the way. Like you're pretty committed.
Yeah, because like, well. Yeah. He says, "It's an honor. Your fame has spread among so many of us." Tychus was saying to Lazarus, but also
okay. Then it has. Okay, yeah.
I'll reveal more at a later time.
Okay.
So yeah, so Tychus he gets to his destination.
Yes.
And looks like he has yet another person to meet. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think I had jumped ahead earlier with our scene. Now we catch Mary and Joseph in the middle of town, lost, and or no, they couldn't find the place. Now the contractions are happening. Sorry, yes. I missed them before. Yes, so
that's all right, because even though we were both a little early there too, because they weren't looking for a room to stay yet. They were looking for Samuel's house. Now Joseph's trying to haggle with the innkeeper here, trying to get a room. He can't do it. Like you said, Mary's starting to have contractions, and yeah, things aren't looking good for Mary and Joseph here. What would you think here?
I like that what she is saying. She's starting to. Where is it? Where is it? Luke 3? No.
There, while you're trying to find it, there's a short scene here where she's saying this prayer. The edges of the camera kind of get a little blurry, and it goes in on a nice close-up of Mary as she's reciting this prayer. "Oh God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you." And during this scene, as she's reciting this, we get even more time travel between Mary from the pilot and this Christmas episode and the Mother Mary we're all familiar with from the series itself, laying in bed somewhere. And it's really cool. They go back and forth for a couple lines of this prayer. It's really cool, really well done. I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's Luke 1. Yeah. So what I think she's saying, she's starting to recite, if you recall, the Magnificat, which is Mary's prayer, which is from Luke 1. So that's what it's kind of referring to right here. And so, yeah, I don't know, just as interesting to see, but that's where it's her little poem, I think you would call it, that she had wrote, or prayer poem, whatever. I mean, most of the Bible is poetry, written in a poetry kind of format. So, but yeah, dude. So here we are. She's already showing strength and faith, and yeah. So contractions are coming. Joseph is defeated, and so yeah.
He's kind of flustered, trying to
string water from a rock.
That and trying to remember where Samuel lives, for crying out loud. Can we just find Samuel's house? He's got to have. I
swear there was a Chick-fil-A on that corner.
Yeah. Maybe now if we just go around one more time. I can't. One more time. Um, but he's like, yeah, the innkeeper didn't have any rooms, but they said we could, like, if we needed to, we could camp out in the stable. They'd give us some blankets and cloths that are clean. But like those are the options. And Mary's like, well, we don't really have time to find Samuel's house, my dude. Stables it is.
We will make it work. And so, yeah, so, and I love how it just jumps to Mary, and she's just so happy, thinking back on her
Oh yes, Mother
late
Mary.
husband, the birth of her late child.
Mm-hmm.
Fever-ridden old Mary.
Yeah, I really like the actress who plays Mary.
Yeah, she's good.
Like, she does such a great job in this show.
Mm-hmm. Most of the actresses, I really, or it's just any the cast really itself. I really like Mary Magdalene, which is Liz Taborn, I think her name is. I really like Matthew's character. I mean, like, just the cast in this show has just been great so far. There's not many that I don't like. I'm trying to think. I feel like there is somebody that I don't know. But yeah, no, so they're all good. But yeah, Mary, is she an actual, like, is she been in a lot of stuff? I feel like that's what you're looking up right now.
I am indeed looking that up. It
You
is
just tell.
Vanessa Benavente, and she's been in a few things. Nothing super crazy. Nothing instantly recognizable, but I mean, she's been in things going back to 2017. So
okay, so
she's been around.
Good.
But yeah, I really enjoy her in this show a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She's a great job.
So, so the man walks in, which is Lazarus. What did I? Lazarus, and so he wakes Mother Mary here, and he's just like, hey, she's here, So they're pretty excited. Are you feeling well enough to see her? And she's just happy, right? And so who's here? And so I think we finally see who was smuggled in, and here comes, who is it?
Not Mother Mary. Mary Magdalene.
That's Mary Magdalene.
One of the many Marys.
And so, like, they made a couple hairs gray in her to kind of show that it's aged a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they did, but yeah, no. So here we are. We got Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary all in the same place here, and
catching up. Just Mother Mary's asking about the boys, which I love how she always refers to them as the boys.
Well, if I recall correctly, I mean, that's kind of what, like, Jesus did, right? I'm not even going to try to look it up. I know it's basically, I believe he said, I hope this isn't one of those things that were fabricated, and but like, Mary meet John, John meet your mother, or something like that. Doesn't he say something like that when he's on the cross, or no?
Oh, I don't know.
I think so. But so I think he refers, like, kind of implies to them, like, hey, like, this is your mother. Like, this is, like, you're going to treat her like your mother. At least, I don't know. I mean, there's a different meaning to that, or intent, but, maybe that's just one of those things that now it's bugging me. I swear, like, as I really, that's my biggest qualm with, just everything, is that I feel like I need to just go back and study the Gospels like another 15, 20 years, because, like, I don't know what's been fabricated and what's not. I really don't. And so the show probably doesn't help that.
Definitely doesn't clear the waters on what's fact or fiction. But yeah, we learn here that Mother Mary has called for Mary Magdalene because she, quote, just had something to share with you. But first, she's got to get caught up on what's going on with the boys, the mission, all that stuff. Immediately, that kind of is a wet blanket on this little reunion. Mother Mary pushes. She is like, I want to know what to pray for, and Mary Magdalene says, they're preaching everywhere. The church is growing. It's all great. But, the deaths of Big James and Nathaniel kind of like emboldened everyone, especially Peter. But, obviously kind of a buzzkill. But we learn here at this point in time of the show, this flashback, Big James and Nathaniel have, met their end, which is beginning of a lot, probably.
Yeah. Really quick, sorry, I don't mean to digress here, but John 19, he did say, so near Jesus was Jesus's mother, her sister, Mary, and Mary Magdalene. And when he saw the disciple he loved, he said to her, talking to Mary, Mother Mary, "Dear woman, here is your son," talking about John, and he said to his disciple, "Here is your mother." And so he did say that. Sorry. But yes, you're right. And they did say that James and Nathaniel have met there. And so I went down a rabbit hole with this, which is something I've been thinking a lot. So I really don't want to digress here, but it does actually kind of coincide with what you just said. But I have been thinking a lot about like what I want to study, like as I kind of go into theology, right? And so I think one of the things I want to do is New Testament Acts, right? And kind of that whole New Testament scholarship. But I went down this rabbit hole because I'm like obsessed with this. And apparently James and who is the other one? James is one of the only ones actually in the Bible that we know of dying. James and Judas. Those are the only people in the Bible that explicitly say like that they died like that. I think the others are inferred, but a lot of these sources that we get from it, like for instance, Peter, it's always like tradition that Peter was hung and upside down or crucified upside down because he didn't want to be crucified the same way that Jesus did or die the same way that wasn't worthy of it, right? But like these people, like actually, they're like a lot of third party. Because I thought that was super interesting that literally like James and Judas were literally the only two that like we know, and I don't even know how James died.
Yeah, that's a good question. And it would be interesting to learn about all the other boys. Magdalene, she continues to go on. She's like
executed with a sword. Sorry. So we're reading Acts 12. King Herod arrested someone that belonged to the church, tended to persecute persecute them. He had James, the brother of John, and put to death with a sword. And so he's the only one that actually you really know from the Bible, other than Judas, we know how his fate. But,
right.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No. Mary goes on to say that it's getting more difficult. They're being, she says it's clear they want us all dead. So that's never a good sign. Things are rough. She asks for Mother Mary to pray for Andrew in Greece. She kind of goes through, and we get a little update here and there where some of the people are, which was interesting. But yeah, we just learned that Mother Mary called Mary Magdalene to come so she could record something for her. And is this the scene where she reveals that she asks if she knows where Luke is. Mary tells her he's in Rome. And Mother Mary's like, all right, cool. I want you to write this down. I heard he's, writing down the story of the birth of Jesus. I didn't tell him everything. So write this down and please like deliver it to him. Which I thought was pretty cool. Again, like we've seen multiple times throughout the 2 seasons, and I'm sure we'll see some more in the 3rd season, but just accounts of probably how all of these stories and all this information were like gathered and put together.
Yeah, and that's, I think some people, if you don't know, Luke was not a disciple. So he was what I get from it, I think he's a physician is what he was. And he gathers a lot of the information, and the way he kind of composes it was like, I think like I kind of gravitated towards Luke's writing just because I feel like he's like when I read it, I feel like I'm reading a research paper, which is like right up my alley, and like
Right.
So I don't know, the way he just kind of brings it all together is a very I don't know. But yeah, so Luke is not. So yeah, he's gathering all the accounts afterward around this time. Like this is clearly, you see that Luke has not written his account yet. He's still composing. So yeah.
Yeah. So then we go back in time again, and Mary and Joseph making their way to their new room.
So
which is a stable with poopy on the floor.
He's holding it. Yep. So holding his blank, and they call it a blanket. And I thought that was interesting. I wonder if that's, I don't know. But yeah, so he picks up his shovel, scoops up the old poop, and there's the manger. And so, yeah, so
we get some more of Mary's poem or song too. She's kind of like mumbling under her breath, and Joseph kind of hears. But yeah, just I couldn't imagine, like, you're about to give birth to like the most important being to ever like step foot on the earth or just exist, period. And you like have to literally shovel poop off the floor where you're about to give birth. Like, oh my god!
And you're cleaning out this trough that the animals just ate from 8 hours ago. Like, and that's our famous manger. I don't know. I just dude.
While all that's going on, the doors open, and Joseph sees some like fantastical lights off in the distance in the sky. Is that the angel revealing itself to the shepherds?
Correct. Yes, that's the brilliant light. I think they describe it as just this blinding light, revealing it to the shepherds. But yes, that's it right there, and he's just amazed.
Yeah, and see, like, so from a creative perspective, for the series, like, I don't know the logistics of being able to retain, like, go back and get those actors, the shepherds from the pilot episode, but holy cow, would it have been so cool if, like, at the after the birth, they come rushing in, but we're seeing it from Mary and Joseph's perspective instead of what we saw in the pilot from the shepherd's perspective. And it just being that no more of the shepherds, just them coming in and seeing and having that whole interaction. That would have been super cool. It didn't like take anything away from this episode or anything, but because we see the light that they saw that made them fall to their knees, right, and come and find baby Jesus.
But I think they did well in the fact that putting that light there and the
Mhm.
way the light was and kind of how close it was, like it it sparked something just that was almost nostalgic to that first episode. Like,
Mhm.
just seeing that, like, it invoked the same feelings that I
Yeah.
would have gotten if somebody ran in if that dude ran
Right.
into the
Yeah,
door,
yeah.
right? I don't know. So, like, I think they did really well with, like, it was that subtle thing. It was like, boom,
Yep.
like Joseph's memorized, mesmerized, the lights there, and it's just that I think it invoked the same feelings in me. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I
It was a
mhm,
nice, you know, callback to the pilot for sure. Because I mean, they didn't have to do that. I mean, what was
uh-huh.
happening already was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
significant, right?
Yeah, and so you got Mary sitting here saying the same prayer, the Magnificat. Um, and man, it's just a cool looking light.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It's also
num
great because, you know, Joseph's not a doctor. He's probably never done this before in his life, and, you
and I did
know
like how what she said is she's oh sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say, like, they're not even married yet, so they haven't, like, seen any
Well, they haven't
sides of
consummated
each
yet,
other, right? You know,
and
so,
she
like
even implies to that. She was like,
yeah,
"I don't
she's like
want you to see me like
yeah,
this."
exactly.
And
So, like, it's
w
just
and it's
awkward all around.
good because I think that they're grown like, I like what they're doing with the development of them too, like because I mean, we don't really we're so far away from that culture of like betrothed marriage, like, you know, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, I can't think of the word, arranged marriages, and so these 2 were clearly arranged to some capacity, and so,
Yeah,
like, you don't even probably really know the person, and then you're expected to, like
yeah,
it's like something that you almost have to grow into each other over time,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
They're
And
just
so, like,
head
they're
first here, I'm just gonna deliver your child that I did not father.
yeah. But I think they just seem like they connect well. I like how it's I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's in a weird way, like, they don't even know each other really, but then they're starting to connect, and they're starting to feel this, like, what I guess you would portray as love or whatever for the
Mhm.
another, you know? So, I just thought that was good, but, and so, yeah, no, he's gonna Dr. Joseph gonna cut the cord, man. Um, so yeah, I mean, so we're back at this, you know, she's about to give birth. The water broke at that
Yeah.
point. So it's time.
There's a really cool scene transition here too, because like, Joseph's, wiping her forehead, right? And then
Mhm.
it transitions into Mary Magdalene wiping Mother Mary's forehead in bed, which, I love stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, and that's where they're just continuing to talk about like writing this stuff down and getting it to Luke, right? I
Mhm.
mean, that's really all that we have in this little scene, right? My
Yeah, she tells Magdalene her psalm, what she
yes.
calls it,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is where they write down for Luke. Yeah, her psalm, her poem, the Magnificat. And so yeah, no, here we are back to she's envisioning. You know, I like how they did this. She's praying this prayer during the time of that all this is happening, and she's praying it again at this later age thinking about the story. And
Mhm.
it almost implies here that like what we're seeing is Mary's memories, right? Like this whole episode is
Mhm.
Mary's actual memory thinking about it, which is good. But yeah, so here we are. Time has come and the the savior of the world. Here he is
Because, like
in
you're saying,
glory.
even as she's reciting the prayer to Magdalene, like, the birth scene is happening. Like,
Mhm.
there's just flashbacks
Yep.
between Mother Mary in bed and Mother Mary becoming a mother and giving birth. It's really well done. I really, really
Uh-huh.
like that.
And it's just I don't know, man. It's
I love I love how after Jesus is born, they're like Joseph's like, "Yeah, we could call him Emmanuel. We could, like, should we should we just stick with Jesus? Like, you know what I mean? I love it. It's so great. And she's like, yeah, we probably should just stick with Jesus. He's like, yeah, you're probably right.
Um,
And they're like, she's like, he's so small. And Joseph's like, yeah, smaller than I expected. Like, it's just so funny because I wonder what they were expecting. Like,
yeah, that's, you know, I was thinking about it as this episode was happening, expectations, and just thinking about like, I was thinking about the disciples as they're kind of clearly showing their expectations throughout the series so far of what the Messiah is going to do and what is coming. And I think after this episode, I realized like Mary doesn't seem to have any expectations in the, you know, before. Like
right.
it's just there's no like, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna go kill some Romans, you know, and like that. But like here, um, I don't know. It's just crazy to think. I can't get out of these shoes. Like I don't understand how I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like just giving birth to something like that and the expectations that are building before that and to come out like just as every other baby came out.
Right.
You know, it's like I can't even. And I remember, I don't know, you've had 3 children. You have 3 children. So I remember the moment, and I had you know, we had a little like concerns and stuff too with ours. So like the I just remember that feeling of like that, like when it was happening and like that few moments waiting for that cry and waiting for it. It was just like this like crazy expectation feeling, and you don't even know what to expect or anticipate or feel. And so like I can't imagine this, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
being in this position and knowing what you know, because if you're
Yeah.
Mary, you know you didn't have sex to get this kid, right? You know what I mean, like, you know, so like there's already like I don't know, it's just crazy. I don't know,
Right.
just
Yeah.
blow.
That whole fact and that like an angel came is like, dude, like this is what's gonna happen. Like I I think it's crazy that at least in this depiction, right?
Mhm.
She, like you said, she seems kind of expectationless, which like it would be so hard to not be expectant of something crazy because the whole how she got to this point is absolutely crazy. Like, uh, so yeah, I don't know, man. I don't e maybe that's why she didn't have any expectations. 'Cause she's like, I
she
literally have no idea what is going to happen.
she
So
just clearly shows this level of faith
yeah,
that I can only dream of.
right,
I mean, even as you read the Magnificat, like it's just pray the soul, you know, praising the Lord, rejoicing in this. It's just I don't know. I think she in that you kind of see this level of like who she is and who God is. You know, she understands these, and she clearly is writing about this faith in this in her situation and what, you know,
right.
I don't know. So like, yeah, I think this is probably how Mary acted. I don't know. Like, I think it's a pretty good portrayal of it. Like,
Yeah,
you know, Joseph's worried and she's not. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. But yeah, the specific conversation that Joseph has about the name, yeah, it popped up on the screen here. It's like your messenger said that he would be called holy and the son of God. The prophecy mentions Emmanuel.
Yeah, as they're
Are we
referring
gonna
to
stick with
Isaiah.
Jesus? Like that's literally what he says. It's so funny.
Yeah,
She's like, yeah, I think we should.
definitely.
Probably best, huh? Man. Yeah, so Jesus is here,
They wrapped him in a swaddling clothes or swaddling
which
cloth.
they talk about.
Yeah. And they place
Um
him in the food holder.
they specifically like say, I think she says the innkeeper, or when she's telling Mary Magdalene about that, she's very specific about it because those cloths are given to newborn lambs.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes a comment about, like, I wonder if, like, that was an intentional God thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, the symbolism and the comparisons there between Jesus and the sacrificial, perfect, spotless lamb that is even mentioned in the pilot episode. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting detail. Oh yeah, actually, right where right where the scene popped up here, that's they're having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus is born, and we're back in and the bedside conversation between the Marys here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was kind of just jumping back into that, but that's where she talks about the same clothes, newborn lambs, and she's like, "There's more. There's go grab that thing over there, right? Is that
Mhm.
yeah?" So she tells Mary Magdalene, she grabs this box, and in that box she opens it up, and there we have it. What does she pull out? Jesus's baby blanket. Yeah,
Good thing it
same.
wasn't his umbilical cord. That'd have been weird.
Just- yes. Did I never mind.
No.
Okay. It's like, we were like, no, we're all right. But yeah, so here we are. It's the swaddle that was used on baby Jesus all
Mhm.
them years ago. Mother Mary has held on to, and now she is clearly Mary knows something about herself. You know, at this point, she's got a fever. She's not well. Like she's this is probably her last time seeing Mary Magdalene. I think, at least in this portrayal of what's happening, like she's understanding that this is her. So she gives her the cloth to keep, and so Mary Magdalene cries, and you know,
Classic Mary.
ask my goodness, yeah. So, and yeah, so she rolls up her script that she or her scribe that she had there. Why do I feel like
Mother
scribe is not
Mary
the right?
prays for her before she leaves. You know, the
Mhm. May the
classic
Lord
prayer here.
bless you and keep you and
Yep.
shine upon you. And
Yep. I
yeah,
think Carrie Job made that prayer up or something. Just kidding. That was a
okay,
terrible joke.
that was a good joke.
Shout out,
Mhm.
Carrie Job.
Yeah,
If you
I
know,
know.
you know.
Yeah, she's listening right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yeah, we got Mary Magdalene now shows up at um at a house
Yes.
in Rome. And who is it? We got our first
Old crazy
introduction
Luke.
to Luke, old Lukey.
Yep.
And so yeah, and you know, they're kind of referring to, he's like, I already got her account, and he's like, it's almost like a wait, but there's more. And
Well,
so
wait, there's more.
yeah, and so yeah, no, I did like that. It was a small scene, but it really did, like, kind of how you said earlier, it did give like this inclination of like what it was like to compose these accounts, you know,
Mhm.
like dude was sitting there, had gathered all these accounts and probably continue gathering more and more and more, and it's
Yeah.
just like, how do you piece this all together like it's a puzzle? And I don't know.
Right. And he finally finishes, and he got that one pain in the tuchus who
Yeah.
comes in. This happens to me every Monday at work. I compile a report that gets sent to our client by noon or a little before noon, whatever. and it's an update of all of the leases that we got signed the prior week for them. I work in oil and gas. I do research to figure out who owns the oil and gas rights. Then I tell people who owns that, and they go get leases signed so these operators can punch holes in the ground and get you your juicy oil and natural gas. Each week on Mondays, I compile a report of all the leases we got signed the week before. And everyone that works for this client, all the project managers, know that this report gets sent out every Monday. It's been like that. I've been doing this report for like 3 years, like every single Monday. And they're supposed to have all their stuff on this big spreadsheet that I pull from before Monday morning. So I can like come in, get all my stuff, make this report. And because sometimes there's a lot, and it does take me from 8 until noon to make this report to get sent out. The last probably month, this one department, every Monday for the last 4 Mondays, I've had the report done. I've gotten to a point where it's really, I can do it pretty quickly. And I'll just like, I'll get it done in like an hour and a half or 2 hours and then just sit on it until like 11 in case there's any corrections or anything that needs to be made. But like, I'll send it out or like I'll have it done. And then this one department's like, oh, hey, I added this and this and this. Or, oh, hey, I made a mistake. This needs to be this. So like, I see this scene and I feel like I can relate with Luke and be like, are you kidding me?
There's more?
I just finished. Like, what do you mean you got to add more?
And there's no, like, it's not like Microsoft Word here, you know? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot that goes into.
It's like, wait, you're telling me this is going in the beginning? I can't just add this to the end?
It's too funny.
Man. No, but it is a cool scene. And again, like, I love the take on how the Bible was created. Like, it's just so cool how they're inferring how they gathered this information and put it together. It's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually kind of blown away when I was doing my research of like how all the disciples died. Because this episode, kind of did that rabbit hole. It even made me recognize, like, I know there was, you hear about all these other writings that are not in the Bible, but like Acts of John, Acts of Peter, Acts of, like, there's a lot more like accounts of things just written, and that's where we get a lot of clues from and stuff. It's just, I don't know. There's just, I'm starting a class this semester called The History of the Church, which I'm pretty excited about. I don't know how much is going to be in scripture, like how that, but like, I'm sure there'll be to some capacity. Like, I mean, that's probably part of the history of how, how we got to our final arrangement. But like, I don't know. It's crazy to think how it's been composed over the years and how much has been left out, how much is not. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, there's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like, I think we take it for granted that there's just this book on every shelf, and the most selling book of the world, right? And you got this, and we just not take advantage of that, but it's just this.
You don't understand the significance
sometimes. Yeah, and I don't know.
Or like, well, I mean, even now, like in other places of the world, like that persecution still exists.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like when they were creating this and like trying to gather this information, like if they were found with that, like that's a death sentence.
Yeah, that's another thing, I like they were all being hunted, right? Like, I think that's the crazy thing too. And just like any, I mean, I don't want to compare them to, I mean, this is a bad comparison, so bear with me here, but like So I'm not comparing them to the Taliban. That's not what I'm doing.
Oh,
But
no.
no, I know this. I told you I preface this. This is
Well,
not a
now
good.
Dallas is definitely not coming on the
No, no,
show.
no, no, no. But what
No.
I'm saying is like I promise there's an actual reason why I said what I said. When you heard about these, different people that we were hunting, right? To take
Mhm.
out. I mean, that as a country, like that's the reality of it. We were hunting these people, going for them. And like, you know, I don't think we were updated every time we got captured some or this. It was like it was a big deal when we got like Osama bin Laden and or even when
Right.
we're going to Saddam Hussein and stuff like that. So like you have these leaders of those movements that were the big deal. Like I think we
Yeah.
forget sometimes like these people were like rock stars in the way, right? Like
Right.
you had Peter and Mary Magdalene, like they you can go out and find a Christian and capture him and martyr him or whatever, but like that wasn't the big deal like
Yeah,
these
it
people
wasn't.
were.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. It
these
wasn't
were,
Peter or
they were
Matthew or you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
exactly. And so I that's why I brought up whatever. I'm just
Well,
saying
and like
like
just look at this episode. It's not like Mary could just stroll into this
no, she
town. Like she
couldn't.
had
And
to be
that's
smuggled in.
yeah, and it's crazy. I don't know. I just they man, it's just hard to it's crazy to think. Because a lot of them, I mean, they'll I mean, for the most part, like I think the only one that they suspect made it to old age was John. And that's, he had and there's even if it was the same John or not, but like John goes to Ephesus, writes John 1, 2, 3 or whatever, and then he gets put to exiled and then makes it back to Ephesus. And like so you just have these, but like he's the only one I think that is suspected to have made it to like that wasn't martyred.
Yeah,
Right? Like I don't know. It's
crazy.
crazy. Which makes sense. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you think about too, like Jesus said, like even in here, like it's only going to get harder. And
Mhm.
I think implies pretty strongly like you're going to die
Yeah. Yeah, for
and you're
sure.
going to die for this cause. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. I liked this episode. I thought it gave a good perspective on Mary and Joseph and just the story. It's I think it's hard sometimes to just even think about it in a new light. It's something you hear every year. It's this,
Mhm.
and I think to some extent you don't know what's been fabricated, what's actually written down, and then you got to go read it again and you got to think. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just it's I thought they did pretty good though. I thought they kind of they didn't seem to fabricate things. It was just right.
Yeah. I would agree. Oh gosh, cough coming. No, yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it, and of course, we're recording this on the 26th.
December 26th, and I will be releasing this. You will be hearing this December 27th.
Same,
So,
yeah.
um,
So couple days late, but we're in that 5 minute 5 minute rule on the floor
yeah,
like window
I did
of
not work
being on
today,
Christmas.
so I
Yeah,
am still in the Christmas spirit tomorrow. It's bah
yeah,
humbug all the way.
yeah, exactly. So
Bah
enjoy this,
humbug.
and then hopefully Um, we'll be able to record season 3, episode 3 tomorrow or soon,
Yeah.
and get that out to you guys too. Because
Yep, and
I did
starting
watch
next
that
week.
on Sunday.
Yes, and I'll be watching that tomorrow. And starting next week, I'll be releasing season 3, episode 1, and then following week 2, and then the following week 3. And then yeah,
Perfect.
and then at that point we're up to date and waiting for old Dallas to make a Facebook post and let us know that
Yep.
it's live.
Episode 3 was a good one. I'm
Mhm.
excited to talk about it.
I'm
There
excited
were
to see it
things that
and talk
happened.
about it. There was
Um,
things.
yes.
Good.
And I think I just want to point this out. Well, go ahead. Is there anything you'd like to let us know about from the Nerdy Bible before we wrap up?
Um, I don't know. I mean, not really. Like, I mean, I am doing a little blog series on Ruth called "The Themes of Ruth." So it's been pretty. Spent this past semester studying Ruth, and I did a lot of writing on it throughout the semester. And I thought, why don't I share this with the world? And
Yeah,
so
not
just
a
kind
bad
of doing
idea.
some word studies, looking at themes. And yeah, I got a couple projects coming up here. We got the Broken series coming out here, just interviewing leaders. I got one of them already recorded and already ready to upload, and got a couple more lined up. And so we'll do that. And I got a couple other plans. So 2023 should be a big year for the Nerdy Bible. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
And yeah, so check that out as it comes out.
Perfect.
What about you at Showboys?
Yeah, this is why I wanted to bring this up, because it does relate to the Chosen here. We have probably our most ambitious project coming up in March. We just recorded our December Patreon episode last Wednesday, actually, where we revealed to our patrons like what it is, and we kind of like started doing research and building out the idea during the episode. But I'll just announce it here, just because I think it's a fun idea, and the Chosen applies to it. We're doing a March Madness style bracket for the best streaming service original series. So it's going to take place throughout the entire month of March. Every Thursday night, we're going to go through each round. We have 64 shows picked out already. And we're going, our next Patreon episode, we're going to draft our bracket groups of 16 shows for 4 groups of 16 shows each. We'll assign them their seeds and we'll determine the matchups. So each week, every Thursday, for 5 Thursdays, we'll go through each round until we get a champion at the very end of March. These shows are streaming service originals, so like a Netflix original, a Hulu original, Disney Plus, Apple Plus, whatever. But how the Chosen applies, I put that on the list when we were building out our show list, which at one point we had like 140 shows on this list that we had to like trim down. Out of all, because it is a streaming service original, you know, they have their own app, so it qualifies. It was the highest rated show on the entire list.
Really?
Just about. I can't say completely, but let me pull up our sheet here. But it made the cut. It's in the 64 shows, so the Chosen will be hopefully making it through the bracket here. But yeah, it is part of the data that we pulled here for this were the rating from IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic. The Chosen didn't show up on Metacritic, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 93% on IMDb.
Really?
And IMDb had 30,000 reviews. So like it's not just, some of these shows would have like 8 reviews and have like a 99. But
the
like
sample size is very large for
the
this.
Chosen
Like you're
on
good.
IMDb has 30,000 reviews and has a 9.3 out of 10.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. So, you know, just quickly looking at the spreadsheet here, it has a 96.5 overall rating between the 3 categories we picked. And yeah, just a quick glance, that's the highest rated show on our list.
Wow.
Which I thought was very interesting.
That is really cool.
Nick, if you are ever going to listen to this episode someday, Nick said in our Patreon episode, he's like, you know, I want to watch that show sometime. We might start watching that in the new year. And I was like, you know what, you should, because it's pretty great. So hopefully Nick gets around to watching this and then gets around to listening to this. If you don't know, Nick is the co-creator and co-host of Showboys with me. So that'd be really cool if he started watching the show, got introduced to Jesus a little bit, and then got introduced to our crazy conversations about all these episodes and some of the theological things that we talk about and struggle with and work through. But yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
have coming up, and I just thought that was the ratings for the show. I mean, we love it, obviously, but
Yeah.
the fact that like it's generally rated very, very highly is crazy.
Yep.
Especially on a place like Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's not like I'm going to Christian sites and looking at ratings for this. Like,
Yeah,
these
you're
are
looking
very
at
secular, mainstream, like film, like critical review sites. So, super cool. I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, man. I'm excited for March, dude. I'm excited to learn more about it.
Yeah, hopefully it goes as well as it is going in my mind right now. Because in my mind, it's going to be a blast. Hopefully it translates, but we will see. Anyways, enough of that. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and like and rate and review and follow everywhere that you're hearing this, at the Nerdy Bible and on his platforms or on the Showboys platforms. Thank you again. Let us know what you enjoyed about this episode in the comments. You can join either or both of our Discords, the Showboys podcast and the Nerdy Bible Discords. I'm sure there are links wherever you are listening or watching this. So hopefully we can talk to you there, talk to you through the comments. Until next time.
Yeah.
Hope you had a great Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Shalom.
Shalom.